during his winner's interview, RDU talked about that he felt that he made a lot of mistakes in that match. He felt that he wasn't rested enough. And you said you think he looks a little maybe not well rested again here. How does that affect you as a pro player?
Well, we're going to find out how it affects him in game number 2 because it's getting underway right now. RDU versus Kaldi, and RDU's out to a 1-0 lead right now. But kind of revisiting your point, it really just kind of depends on the kind of person you are. We look at some guys who have these extremely busy schedules, and I think that benefits them a lot because that's part of a motivator. But then, some players, they need a lot of time to kind of mellow out and just relax and enjoy what's going on around them so that they can be 100% for their games. And so, to me, obviously the ideal one is the busy schedule fits you better. But there's something to be said about the kind of players who like to be very relaxed and like to take their time. They tend to be a little bit more unique to me.
Yeah, and RDU has actually mentioned that he actually enjoys the breaks that we have in between games here because, gives him a little time to get back on track. And here we see Kaldi again with this Paladin deck that we've seen him playing so much here at the last end of the season. It's been doing very well for him, too.
Yeah, 2 Ironbeak Owls also is really interesting to me. This tells me that he is prepared specifically for these kinds of decks from RDU. This Ironbeak Owl, it doesn't look like it's doing too terribly much here, but this is going to prevent a lot of long-term damage.
Oh, wow, picking up a Cog Hammer, too. This is going to be great here for Kaldi. And, man, I love turn 2 Ironbeak Owl against almost every form of Hunter. If you ever hit, like, a Mad Scientist or a Haunted Creeper, it's so good because not only does it silence him to take away, the main reason that you're playing these cards, but it challenges them as well.
Yeah, and so that's actually a big deal. I love Kaldi's sequencing here, too. Squeezing in a couple extra points of damage, making sure he's not just giving RDU extra resources if he needs to. I mean, this forces RDU, he loses 1 or 2 points of damage here, but at the end of the day, that can add up to a ton when it's all said and done.
Yeah, RDU going to go ahead and chew through this Misha here, and then, I'm sorry, Kaldi going to go ahead and chew through this Misha here, through RDU's Misha, and then, develop a piloted Shredder here, get some pressure on the board.
RDU's hand looking pretty darn solid, though. Adds his own piloted Shredder, again, continues to chip away with these small minions. Despite the fact that Kaldi was able to Ironbeak Owl and use Cog Hammer, I feel like he's fallen a little bit behind.
Yeah, and there's a chance here, unless he wants to Lotheb, that he's just going to coin out Savannah Highmane. Savannah Highmane, what a card that has been for him late in the season here. Who could forget his match against Arrow? Savannah Highmane's in that one.
Yeah, I'm saying. And so RDU once again finds himself in a spot where can actually chew through all this board position and has wonderful follow-ups. These are the kinds of situations that Kaldi, I think, is trying to avoid, is getting into a spot where suddenly Savannah Highmane is almost backbreaking. He happens to have the right tools to actually deal with this position, though.
Is there ever a world where Lotheb Abusive Sergeant is better there and chew through the slime, or do you just like getting the Savannah Highmane out?
I think getting the Savannah Highmane out is probably a little bit more important. You've already seen an Ironbeak Owl. Paladin, you don't expect it to run 2, and that's really where the deck building difference is coming in, is that Kaldi's putting himself in positions where RDU's in these spots. Like, how does he climb out of this suddenly?
Yeah, this is what I was about to say. I mean, look at this board position that Kaldi is building here with an Ironbeak Owl behind this, a Blessing of Kings, and a Doctor Boom.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking the aggressive route right now. He's had that one small window of opportunity, and he's capitalizing on it.
Yeah, and this is how RDU can start to get back into it right here. Very big Unleash the Hounds to kind of help him clear up this board state.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to do a little bit of work here. It's not going to do all of it. Yeah, but he does have an Abusive Sergeant and a Quick Shot to help himself out quite a bit here.
Which is the other thing to talk about, is the follow-up turns when you have with Abusive Sergeant. You get the Savannah Highmane out, you're looking at that will contest every single minion.
Yeah, and that's not the worst drop here for RDU. This is a 0 power minion. It will have a small effect on the game and gaining some life, but again, there could be way worse coming out of that.
Yeah, I think honestly, I can see it both ways. I would like to kill this Lightwell, but pushing damage upstairs, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, you miss more damage by killing the Lightwell, but here's the thing. He doesn't know this, but this Blessing of the Kings on a Lightwell, not the worst thing in the world if Kaldi wants to do that.
It certainly isn't. And
a 4/9 is very hard to deal with.
Yeah, and when you're coupling this with the Ironbeak Owl, I mean, suddenly you're looking at Kaldi being able to handle RDU's board state, and he's got to put together some damage here. Has a Lotheb, has a Leper Gnome in his hand, but
now is it better to Ironbeak Owl and then Blessing of Kings the Defender of Argus here? And just run over the Savannah Highmane?
I don't think it is. I think it's probably better to diversify your threats a little bit.
And keep the Lightwell around.
Yeah.
Well, good pickup here for RDU.
Yeah, that's an okay one. Lotheb plus Quick Shot is going to take care of this Lightwell. And then this damage going to start getting pushed upstairs. So no value off his Quick Shots in terms of the extra card draw, but he's getting the job done right now, which is the most important part.
Yeah, he's getting the job done in that he's got Kaldi in a lower life total than him, and he's pressuring him on board. This is what you want to be doing with Hunter.
Yeah, and there's no answer to this Lotheb. This is going to get in 5 points of damage right now.
And Kaldi's got a a good turn set up next turn if he wants to get Knife Juggler and Muster for battle. It's going to be hard for him to pass up Dr. Boom here. You're going to see him trade off and just hope that he's not taking 12 this turn.
Yeah.
Because RDU's showing 7.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, I think, to take 12 when your opponent's kind of shown the range that RDU has.
Right. But you have to push for damage here if you're RDU. You can't sit around and wait.
No, absolutely not. And so this is where it can finally get scary for RDU at this point. Say Kaldi has a heal, or say he's able to deal with your board position. You're looking at some sticky situations, but down to 3 cannot feel comfortable. Kaldi's got to be picture perfect on his turn.
Yeah, he's going to have this Knife Juggler pick off so much stuff because any point of damage from RDU here wins this game.
Which is actually, when you look at this board position too, it's actually kind of scary for RDU as well. Dr. Boom can run over this Lothar right now, and then Muster for battle is going to actually give Kaldi the kind of pressure that he needs to end this game next turn.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this turn from Kaldi. If RDU doesn't find that point of damage from here, he's going to die. He's going to have enough power in play to kill RDU from this spot.
Yep. He even wants to use the boom bot. I love this.
This
just
maximizes damage. Yeah.
Yep. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, there's 17 damage on board. RDU has to draw damage this turn or he's done.
Yeah, I don't think a taunt gets him out of this either.
Oh, you can see him rubbing his hands. He wants it badly. This deck is stuffed full of damage. Mad Scientist isn't it, though. Kaldi's going to tie this series up at 1 game apiece.
Yeah, and he's been leaning on this Paladin deck quite a bit here at the end of the season. He did play it against Era. Era got the better end of it, but he had a big matchup against Jab at the end of the season here, who has been one of the better players in our league. Kaldi 3-0'd him in what felt like 5 minutes with this deck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just, against a player like Jab, this deck is going to put in a lot of work. He will continue to favor mid-range. Against a player like RDU, 2 Ironbeak Owls makes a big difference. Able to more consistently have one in the early turns, shut off things like Haunted Creeper, shut off things like Mad Scientist. Even in this one, it shut off a Leopard Gnome. Kaldi would have died if he didn't Ironbeak Owl the Leopard Gnome.